What's going on, YouTubers? I'm Kevin08015, and this is another episode of my top 5. Alright, number 1, and I'm going to try and zip through these quickly. Number 1, Hardee's. I began being a wrestling fan in 2004. Occasionally caught wrestling in the late 90s, early 2000s. You know, it was just wrestling. But I wasn't a fan of it until 2004. But I remember as far back as 1999, I remember seeing the Hardys, and I'm like, these guys are cool. And, you know, I would always say, like, my cousins were big wrestling fans, and every time we had our little backyard wrestling thing, and not, like, when I say backyard wrestling, I don't mean, like, we lit tables on fire, and we, you know, hit each other in the head with chairs. No, we did non-weapon using wrestling. Like, we did good wrestling. I cherish those memories, actually, to this day, because we did it right. We did it. We were very careful, and we had a lot of fun. But anyway, we would, you know, just horse around, wrestle, and my only knowledge of wrestling was the Hardys and my WrestleMania 2000 game on the N64. I had gotten it from a cousin of mine that didn't want it anymore, so that was my only knowledge of wrestling. And I'm like, you know, like, the Hardys are my dudes, you know. They're like what I want to be, you know. They're awesome. They dress cool, you know. And not to mention, I always enjoyed watching Lita walk to the ring with her thong hanging out, so that was awesome. Alright, number 2, Edge and Christian. Who didn't like Edge and Christian? Even if they were a heel tag team, you still loved them. Like I said, I began watching wrestling in 2004, so, you know, Edge and Christian had since then been broken up for a few years. So I never really got to watch Edge and Christian work live, but I always, I will say this about myself, from 2004 to now, I have always been able to update myself, and I'm like a wrestling trivia freak. My friends always make jokes all the time about it. I educated myself very well about WWE history. Yeah, Edge and Christian, they were always funny. They started off as brothers, and then they just kind of kicked that storyline to the curb, and they were best friends. And it was the whole thing. But they were very funny, and they're still funny. Even when their Edge and Christian show came out, I didn't know what to expect. You know, like, I was afraid, like, I know they're funny, but I was afraid, like, there was a chance that it itself might be stupid. But I watched it, and it was awesome. They're still freaking hilarious, and that's why they're one of my favorite tag teams. Number 3, D-Generation X. And that goes for both Triple H and Shawn Michaels as DX, and, you know, the bigger DX, Road Dogg, Billy Gunn, X-Pac, Chyna, the whole group itself, they were always awesome because, like, you know, they got away with a lot of stuff. Like, they never asked permission to do stuff. They never did anything. You know what I mean? Like, they always did it on their own. They said whatever they wanted, did whatever they wanted, and, you know, they did whatever they want, said whatever they wanted. When they came back in 2006, it was hilarious. You know, like, I was always wondering, because I'm like, this is a different time in wrestling now. You know, they got away with so much. I used to have the DX home video, you know, and dude, was that X-rated. I mean, like, not X-rated, but definitely R-rated. Like, they let them curse left and right on that show, on that tape. You saw mass quantities of boobies. You know, it was just like, yo, these guys are untouchable. Like, they're untouchable. So that's why they got to do whatever they wanted. So that's why they're awesome. Number 4, Los Guerreros. Their vignettes are hilarious. I'm such a big fan of Eddie Guerrero. and I took it really hard when I found out he passed away. I remember it was a Sunday, I believe. Yeah, it was a Sunday, and in my house, Sunday was cleaning day. So we were, we had music playing, TV wasn't on, computer was off, and, we were cleaning up, and I got a call from my friend, and he was like, yo, did you hear about Eddie Guerrero? I'm like, no, what? And he's like, he passed away. And I'm like, what? And I hopped on the computer, and the second I saw on WWE.com Eddie Guerrero 1968 to 2005, I just bawled. I just started crying. I'm like, because, like, honest to God, Eddie Guerrero is the reason I kept watching WWE. I remember because I had the wrestling games, I was flipping through the channels one night, nothing was on. Wrestling was on. It was SmackDown on UPN. And I'm watching it, and I'm like, okay, Big Show's in my game. He was with Brock Lesnar, and I'm like, I don't know who the fuck that guy is. But I know Big Show, so that's cool. A couple more guys come out, and I'm like, I don't know who these people are. And then getting ready to change the channel, Eddie Guerrero comes out, and he was just, I don't know, he was just freaking hilarious, and it made me want to keep watching. So, I watched the rest of the show, and then I watched the next week. Eddie Guerrero was once again hilarious, and then I just kept watching and watching, and within a couple to a few weeks, I was a fan. So I was a big fan of Eddie Guerrero. And Chavo is very funny as well, too. I feel like Chavo never got the credit that he deserved, and he still is a very underrated superstar. And I feel like Los Guerreros, even though they did go far, I feel like they could have gone further. At the same time, I feel like they broke up about the right time, and they did it the right way. You had two hot-headed Latinos, and it was bound. They were bound to butt heads eventually, but not only did they have great tag team matches, and not only were they a great tag team, they had great singles matches. And you gotta appreciate that as a wrestling fan. So, number 5, The New Day. Probably one of the only tag teams from this era that I do like. New Day is absolutely, like, every time they come out, they're just like, they're weirdly funny. It's like people I would hang out with, and people that would want to hang out with me. That's why I like them so much. They're so funny. They're, like, just silly and stupidly funny. So that's why I like the New Day. They're just funny. And like it's good too because you had Kofi Kingston, Big E, and Xavier Woods. You had 3 guys who were starting to kind of fade out. They were curtain jerkers. And then put those 3 together, and by a miracle, you had a phenomenal faction. And like what's great is I feel like the New Day is our generation's version of the Freebirds, and Michael Hayes has said that himself as well. So I felt like it was very appropriate that they inducted the Freebirds into the Hall of Fame. They're just downright funny and entertaining, and the great part about it is it's not going away. Yeah. So those are my top 5 favorite all-time WWE tag teams. I thank you guys for watching. If you have a tag team that that's your favorite that I didn't mention here today, put it in the comment box below. And don't be afraid to subscribe to me, brother or sister. All right. Peace and love.